we have to talk about the elephant in the room when it comes to the Venom movie. Because, basically... Spider-Man. No. Venom. No. Superhero movies. Yes. Superhero movies have always been a part of Hollywood cinema going as far back as 1978, with the most obvious example, Superman. Batman continued the blockbuster trend in 1989, but neither of those are really relevant when we compare them to the current superhero boom, which most people agree started off with X-Men in 2000. Even though Blade came out in 1998, Blade is not a conventional superhero, as most of you would agree. Now here's the thing, Marvel Comics wasn't doing very well as a company. Some of you may be joking at the moment, well, ha-ha, we're not doing very well at the moment either, but in order to stay full of bankruptcy, Marvel Comics licensed away a lot of their intellectual property. The aforementioned X-Men, Spider-Man, Daredevil, Fantastic Four, and what have you not. The first Spider-Man movie was released in 2002, and yeah, looking back on it, it is slightly kitsch, it's slightly campy. But you know what? It feels like a genuine superhero movie. It feels, honest to God, this is a superhero. It feels almost as timeless as Superman and Wonder Woman are. With Spider-Man 2 coming in a couple of years later, this is probably, and I'm gonna say it, my favourite superhero film ever. Yes, it still has a lot of the camp and kitsch I mentioned about the first Spider-Man, but it's just cranked up everything up to 11. It just made everything work together, and I really love it when a villain and a hero are similar in nature, but, you know, obviously there are lots in lives make one the hero and one the villain. And then we get Spider-Man 3. No, hang on. It's not about Venom. Spider-Man 3 was a big old mess, you probably agree with that. Sam Raimi, the director of the previous two installments, wanted to make Sandman the biggest villain and maybe use Vulture. Instead, Avi Arad, who'd been a creative consultant for a lot of Marvel properties at that time, suggested that he used Venom. I'm not going to criticise this film too much because I still have a soft spot for it, but here's the thing, as soon as Spider-Man 3 was finished, a year later, we got Iron Man in May, and boy did we get Iron Man. And The Dark Knight in July. Boy did we get The Dark Knight. These movies blew people's minds. The Dark Knight was considered like, oh, this is not only a good superhero movie, it's a good movie, which is, you know, stupid in a way because... Are you not entertained? But here's the thing with The Dark Knight and Iron Man, they made lots of money. You know who else likes money? Everybody. So Sam Raimi had been tapped to do Spider-Man 4, but a lot of circumstances involving Tobey Maguire and his own production kind of made that project slip away. So Sony, and now we're getting to the point. So Sony made The Amazing Spider-Man, and I don't know about you, but I could really leave this film alone. It's not up my alley at all. It's got its fan base, which is fine. You can like what you like, I'll like what I like, and I don't like this. But here's the thing, same year we got The Amazing Spider-Man, we also got The Avengers. And after The Avengers, basically Marvel could not do any wrong. Every movie that came out afterwards, even though it might get mixed reviews, still made bank. Yeah, and this is where Sony Pictures said, you know what, we like money, and we got Amazing Spider-Man 2. And I have never seen that film. You're probably gonna expect me to say something clever here, but I don't have anything. I can only base this on pure conjecture because I haven't seen the film and I'm really not planning to see it anytime soon. But what I hear is that a lot of it spent a lot of time building up towards the sequel, and that's always a bad thing. If you include a scene foreshadowing all kinds of other villains up to 6, well, we're still dealing with 2.5 villains in this very movie itself. Yeah, that's basically where Spider-Man 3 went wrong as well. No matter how much box office Amazing Spider-Man 2 made, it wasn't good enough. It got panned hard. So this is what they did. We all know what they did. They did Spider-Man Homecoming. And that's where we are now. Spider-Man now lives in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Spider-Man does not exist as a Sony product. Which is bad for Sony because they had already planned to make so many Spider-Verse films. Even going back as far as Amazing Spider-Man 2, we'd already heard rumours that they wanted to make a Sinister Six film. Not as in Spider-Man vs. the Sinister Six, a collection of 6 of his biggest bad guys, or most notable bad guys that can play nice together, but rather a movie about 6 bad guys together. I don't get the appeal of that because the Sinister Six, at the very least, were never really treated with like an anti-hero, anti-villain aspect as things like the Suicide Squad. So Venom has got his own movie, and it's starring Tom Hardy, and I like Tom Hardy. He was great in Mad Max Fury Road and other things I can't think of. He's in Peaky Blinders.
Good morning, Mr. Solomons.
Yay! So now we have a Venom movie, and I'm not even gonna discuss the trailer all that much, starring Venom. And Venom exists solely because of Spider-Man. Let's play a little game. Eric Lenter, Magneto. Take away Charles Xavier as the linchpin of the X-Men. Hell, take away the X-Men. You still have Magneto. He was still kept in a concentration camp in World War II, developed mutant powers, hated humanity as a result, and took revenge upon it as Magneto, Master of Magnets.
I am Magneto, Master of Magnet.
Okay, so there's still a couple of people he could potentially fight. He still has a motivation beyond that. He still exists as a character in his own right. Now let's try this one. Victor Von Doom. Take away Reed Richards, hell, take away the entire Fantastic Four. He still would get his face scarred, he still would have to come back to Latveria and take over the country because the ruling class of Latveria was still the cause of his parents' deaths, directly or indirectly. So he would still end up scarred with a power armor. And sure, yeah, he would not have anybody he could directly fight, but that's a story on its own. It's very much so self-contained. Now let's look at Venom. Venom is an alien symbiote. Sometimes Venom is a chemical compound that gets created by a mad scientist. Either way is fine. I can happily accept a potential engineered creature as opposed to an alien being, but it looks like they're going with the alien being again. Fine. So Venom, in this case Eddie Brock, has cancer, which he has had in the comics, and now the symbiote cures him of that cancer as long as they get together, and now what? Yes, okay, Carnage is apparently in the film, but then he stops Carnage because why? What's his motivation behind that? Eddie Brock's ex-wife is in the film. Is it just gonna be that? Venom is basically a derivative character. Somebody that exists only to exist alongside someone. Are people that invested in that? Because the thing is, people are going to be connecting him to Spider-Man. Except Spider-Man is now an 18-year-old boy. Tom Hardy is a big burly man, 40 years of age. How are you going to use a character whose entire motivation is I hate Spider-Man and make a film about him trying to stop somebody whose only motivation is to kill people? They can't even follow anything in the comics either. Like McGargan, the Scorpion, he's been Venom before, except McGargan in the film universe is this guy. Yeah, he was in Spider-Man Homecoming. Flash Thompson, former Marine, loses his legs, gets the Venom symbiote, but oh no, in this case, Flash Thompson is this guy. But I don't want to harp on about Venom. It's not the film's fault that the decisions of the people in charge have made us end up in this weird situation, because I hope I'm wrong. I hope they do wonders. I hope they achieve greatness. But here's the thing. They are still working on a Silver Sable and Black Cat movie. If you don't know Silver Sable is a mercenary in the comics, and if you don't know Black Cat, she's a cat burglar, also from the comics. Both have appeared in several animated series, Black Cat more so than Silver Sable, but they have no direct correlation. The problem with making a Spider-Man Spider-Verse without Spider-Man. Am I taking crazy pills? At least it's not still trying to make that Sinister Six film. Oh, for fuck's sake!